couples with the earnestness of speech.
As the bleak Atlantic currents lash the wild Newfoundland shore, so they beat against the State House, so they surged against the door, and the mingling of their voices made the harmony profound, till the quiet street of Chestnut was all turbulent with sound.
Will they do it?
Dare they do it?
Who is speaking?
What's the news?
What of Adams?
What of Sherman?
Oh, God grant they won't refuse.
Make some way there.
Let me nearer.
I'm stifling.
Stifle then.
When a nation's life's at hazard?
We've no time to think of men.
So
they surged against the State House.
While all solemnly inside sat the Continental Congress, truth and reason for their guide, or a simple scroll debating, which, though simple it might be,
Yet should shake the cliffs of England with the thunders of the free. Far aloft in that high steeple sat the bellman, old and gray. He was weary of the tyrant and his iron sceptered sway. So he sat, one hand ready on the clapper of the bell, when his eye should catch the signal of that long-expected news to tell. See, the dense crowd quivers.
Through all its lengthy line, as the boy beside the portal hastens forth to give the sign, with his little hands uplifted, breezes dallying with his hair, hark, with deep, clear intonation, breaks his young voice on the air.
Hush the people's swelling murmur, while the boy cries joyously. Ring, he shouts. Ring, ring, Grandpapa. Oh, ring for liberty. Quickly at the given signal, the old bellman lifts his hand. Forth he sends the good news making.
Iron music through the land. How they shouted.
What rejoicing!
How the old bell shook the air, till the clang of freedom ruffled the calmly gliding Delaware. How the bonfires and the torches lighted up the night's repose, and from the flames, like fabled phoenix, our glorious liberty arose.
That old State House bell is silent. Hushed is now its clamorous tongue, but the spirit it awakened still is living, ever young. And when we greet the smiling sunlight on the 4th of each July, we will ne'er forget the bellman who betwixt the earth and sky rung out loudly, Independence, which please God shall never die.
Amen.
Our Thomas Jefferson, aptly portrayed by Mr. Bob Schultz. And now we have you, men and women of the Continental Congress. You are the delegates. So now what happened that day, a lot of you know about, some of you don't know. There was deliberation back and forth and back and forth. And Mr. Justice, what do you have to say to Mr. Morris about what he is doing? And where's Mr. Morris?
I think Mr. Morris be a coward. He doesn't want to stand against a criminal in England that would take away our unalienable rights. I think we should stand with Mr. Jefferson.
Mr. Morris? Well, wait just a minute, Mr. Morris. You're not voting yet. At that point, Mr. Morris said, now wait a minute. I think that every word of this document should be perfect. And he went into his speech about certain inalienable rights. He wanted to add the word certain. At that point, Mr. Jefferson had had enough. He closed up his desk, took his Declaration of Independence, and went to the other side of the room and sulked. But not for long. Not for long, Bob. Okay? It was at that point that there was talk of what was going to happen. And who's the gentleman over here? Oh, there you go. Todd We don't have, remember your line?
What? I didn't hear my cue, but you know, we won't be the only ones who will hang from
No.
You said
No experience required. We're all having fun. No, you were going to say we don't have the money to fight the strongest army in the world.
okay. I heard you.
That was line.
We don't have the money to fight the strongest army in the world.
Okay, at that point, Mr. Franklin over here stood up and he said,
Either we will all hang together, or we will hang separately.
yes, yeah, we all agree, okay? Okay, but still the debate went on, and they had known beforehand that day that the deciding vote was going to be Delaware. Now, their head delegate, Caesar Rodney, was not there. He was 80 miles away in Dover. But Mr. McKean, who was a very shrewd man, knew that he needed to get Mr. Rodney there. So that night before, he sent an express rider all the way to Dover to get Mr. Rodney to come to the Continental Congress. Now, Mr. Rodney, as the account goes, was on his horse in 10 minutes. And he galloped through the mud and the storm, 80 miles. Now, we can get in a car today and we have great horsepower. He had 1 horsepower. And he went through the night over roads that were deep in mire. And he arrived just in time to save the vote. And it was at that point, Benjamin Franklin, which I didn't give you this line, but that's okay. He said, Delaware's deadlock is broken. And at that point, Mr. Jefferson regained his hope. And he knew that something was going to happen. And it was at that moment that John Adams said, let's put it to a vote and let's do it now. And at that point, Mr. Hancock here called a roll call. Now this is where you all come in. All right?